learned Julian Millard has found out one judgment.
Yes.
I have not gone through. I have not gone through it. Therefore, Millard,
Now, your lordships, kindly, the aptitude test has been defined in the rules itself. Your lordships, kindly take consideration of the rule itself, 2C at page 154. Well, rule 2C at the top at page 154, your lordships will find the expression has been defined. This is the statutory rules. Now, kindly see, aptitude test means a test to assess natural teaching ability of a candidate. Well, the expression interview has not been defined. Well, the aptitude test and the interview was taken by a selection committee, by the members of the selection committee. If your lordships kindly take note of the judgment at paragraph 9, your lordships at page 292 of the judgment under appeal. Internal page 5, paragraph 9. Now, your lordships, kindly consider this. In respect of in holding of an aptitude test, the chairman of the board in his report has says the aptitude test were taken, but from the evidence adduced by the interviewers. Malad, kindly take note of here. Malad, the interviewers means Malad, though took the interview. Malad, they were chosen by the learned single judge, and the deposition was taken by the learned single judge in respect of an interview which took place 7 years before. The candidates, it has been proved before this court that no aptitude test was taken. But apart from its perversity, with all respect to the learned single judge, of this sort of finding by taking the deposition of 7 to 8 interviewers in the process, this very concept of the learned single judge, he has not taken into consideration the definition of the aptitude test. All I'm trying to submit before your lordships, by process of an interview, a question can be put to a candidate by the members of the selection committee, who are called interviewers, which can cover both interview and the aptitude test. Suppose an interviewer, a committee of the selection committee, ask an examinee, please, on a particular topic, explain us how do you teach the students, considering the members of the students. Now, this is a natural ability, is being tested by the interviewers. Now, these cannot be considered by the learned single judge in respect of a process of recruitment throughout the state of West Bengal only on the basis of deposition of 8 to 9 persons and on the basis of the deposition of the petitioners. Petitioners certainly they have come up to undo the entire process. Was done. The persons who were selected, their depositions were not taken. All that I'm trying to say, your lordships, that interview sometimes covers the aptitude test as defined under the rules. The Supreme Court has none of the cases, your lordship says, what is the aptitude test? This is the definition given by the rules. Now, I will be showing one judgment, your lordships, that interview covers the aptitude test also. This is the judgment. If your lordships kindly consider this judgment reported in 1981 4 SCC 158. I'm giving your lordships the legible photocopy of it. 158. The paragraphs are 6 to 9, if I'm not wrong, your lordships. 159. Now, your lordships, paragraph 6. Now, this is commonly known to us, Leeladhar's judgment. It's a celebrated judgment, my lord. Kindly consider this paragraph 6. Thus, the written examination assess the man's intellect and the interview test, the man himself and the twain shall meet for a proper selection. If both written examination and interview test are to be essential features of proper selection, the question may arise as to the weight to be attached respectively to them. In case of admission to a college, for instance, where the candidate's personality is yet to develop, and it is too early to identify the personal qualities for which greater importance may have to be attached in later life, greater weight has perforce to be given to performance in the written examination. The importance to be attached to the interview test must be minimal. That was the case decided by this court in Pariyakappan versus State of Tamil Nadu and Ajay Hasi and others. On the other hand, this is very vital. In the case of services to which recruitment has necessarily to be made from the persons of mature personality, interview test may be the only way, subject to basic and essential academic and professional requirements being satisfied. To subject such persons to a written examination may yield unfruitful or negative result, apart from its being an act of cruelty to those persons. There are, of course, many services to which recruitment is made from younger candidates whose personalities are on the threshold of development and who show signs of great promise, and the discerning may, in an interview test, catch a glimpse of future personality. In the case of such services where sound selection must combine academic ability with personality promise, some weight has to be given, not no much to great weight to the interview test. There cannot be any rule of thumb regarding the precise ways to be given. It must vary from service to service according to the requirements of the service, the minimum qualification prescribed, the age group for which the selection is to be made, the body to which the task of holding the interview test is proposed to be entrusted, a host of other factors. It is a matter for determination by experts. It is a matter for research. It is not for courts to pronounce upon it unless exaggerated weight has been given with proven or obvious oblique motives. The Kothari committee also suggested that in view of the obvious importance of the subject, it may be examined in detail by the research unit of the Indian Public Service Committee. In this background, let us now examine the situation presented by the Rajasthan rules. The Rajasthan Judicial Service rules have been made by the Governor of Rajasthan in consultation with the High Court of Rajasthan and Rajasthan Public Service Commission. The High Court may be expected to know the precise requirements of the judicial service of the state and the caliber of the available source material, while the Public Service Commission is an expert body thoroughly conversant with the recruitment policies and selection methods. Both the High Court and the Public Service Commission are independent bodies outside executive control, occupying special positions, enjoying special status under the Constitution. Neither is an outstanding agency. Both are well acquainted with the particular needs of their state and the people. If the governor, in consultation with the High Court and the Public Service Commission of the state, makes rules stipulating 75% of the marks for the written examination and 25% for the interview test, on what basis can a court say that the 25% for the interview test is on the high side? It must not also be forgetting that the interview test is generally conducted, and was in the present case conducted, by a body consisting of the judge of the High Court, chairman, and a member of the Public Service Commission, a special invitee expert. There can surely be no legitimate grievance or hint of arbitrariness against this body. Yet another factor worth of consideration is that candidates expected to offer themselves for selection are not raw graduates freshly out of college, but are persons who have already received. Then your losses kindly consider the paragraph, my lord, the 9-year losses. This second ground of attack, paragraph 8, my lord. The second ground of attack must fail for the reasons as the first ground of attack. The rules themselves do not provide for allocation of marks under different heads at the interview test. The criteria of the interview test has been laid down by the rules. It is for the interviewing body to take general decision whether to allocate marks under different body. Well, this is also not here so relevant, your lordships. Kindly come to the paragraph 9 itself. Both cases cited before us, Periyakappan and Ajay Hasia, were cases of admission to colleges. We have already pointed out that the provisions for marks for interview test need not and cannot be the same for admission to the colleges. Now, in fact, the Poriakkan case, even in the case of college admission, the court observed, while we do feel that the marks allotted for interview are on the high side, it may be appropriate for the government to re-examine the question. We are unable to uphold the contention that it was not within the power of the government to provide such high marks for interview, or that there was an arbitrary exercise of powers. Now your losses will find.
So what is the point you're trying to make?
And the point to trying to make out your losses that just giving you. Now, so for the interview
In
test
the
is
facts of this case, with the, what
I
are
tell you
the
losses.
point you're trying?
the interview and aptitude test was taken by the same interviewers by a selection body. Interview also considers a person may be theoretically sound, but evaluated on the basis of written test. Whereas interview assess the candidates on other facts: his alertness, his resourcefulness, his dependableness, his cooperativeness, clear and logical presentation, and capability to interact and discuss. What are the points before the learned single judge that aptitude tests were not taken? By examining 7 or 8 interviewers and some of the petitioners. There were 700 selecting committees were there throughout the state. Suppose in the case of a particular interviewer, a question was put up which was combined, both can serve the purpose of interview and the aptitude test. It was for the court to decide that the aptitude test was not at all taken. Therefore, these judgments shows, my lord, what is the purpose of the written test and what is the purpose of interview, which covers, my lord, both the aptitude test
Yes,
and
that'll be all. Yes, anybody else on?
Submission from our side is okay.